Hi, I am being prompted to do a reading, and anytime I videotape or publish a reading, it's because I'm being prompted to do so. And unfortunately, today's reading is not a cheerful one. It, however, is in line with all of the other information I've been getting. It is in line with that, and it is in line with the current times, and it is a very telling reading, but it's not a cheerful one, so I'm going to warn you about that up front. So it's a simple 5 card spread where I ask an outcome of a situation, and my question was the current situation being COVID-19 in America today. That is the current situation. And we received the death card. As you know, death does not always mean a physical death. It can mean the sun setting on something and a new path opening up. As you can see, she's holding a rose to her heart, and its power of her heart seems to be unfurling the rose in a new state of consciousness. So there are lots of different transitions from the death card. But considering my question was about COVID-19 and its effect on America, this is what we're getting. So we can't expect a certain literal interpretation. But we also need to look at the societal interpretation and its value to us right now. Because as a society, we are going to be experiencing, and this is just what I've been picking up a lot, we are going to be experiencing a death of an old way of life. And a new path is going to have to be foraged in order to be successful. The old way of life is going to have to be mourned in a way. Almost like a life review. I see us years from now remembering the good old days before the virus. So that is unfortunate. I'm picking up notes of mourning. All right. So moving on to the second placement, this is what action can we take? What action can we take to affect the outcome of this current situation, which is a deadly virus and a new way of life? What action can we take? So here we have a king who is a man of authority, and he's reversed. In the upright position, this man has a ton of ambition, and in the reverse position, he is cruel as well, and he will be cruel in order to win and satisfy his desire for ambition. He is overly confrontational, and he strong arms people. Even the curtain around the card looks like Donald Trump's hair. Oh my goodness. Okay. But as you can see, it's no laughing matter. This person is a tyrant, to put it nicely. So what action can we take? Well, the man who is supposed to be taking action, the President of the United States, is more involved in his own overweening ambition and is turning a cold shoulder in my viewpoint of this reading. Moving on, this placement is obstacles and challenges that we're facing due to this situation, and we can see that we have the reversed Wheel of Fortune card. Unfortunately, this means the obstacle that we're having to face is that we're experiencing as a nation and globally a downturn in fortune. That's what this card means. Luckily, the Wheel of Fortune is just that. It's a wheel, so it keeps on turning. You're never going to be in the same downturn for long because the Wheel of Fortune always brings an element of surprise. So, but considering, this is a placement card of obstacles, and considering we're having a worldwide pandemic, I think it's safe to say that we're dealing with some pretty big issues here, and it's a downturn in fate, a downturn in destiny, a downturn in fortune, and we moving on. We need to realize that. I think the sooner the better, so we can properly prepare ourselves, which is a nice segue into this card. The placement of this card is the outcome of the situation. And the Ten of Wands is a card of burden, and when it's reversed, it means that we are deceiving ourselves. Perhaps the burden is too heavy to bear, but we are deceiving ourselves into thinking we can do it. Perhaps the outcome is self-deception, is what this reading is telling us. The outcome of this situation is self-deception. Okay, we have experienced loss. We have experienced loss. We have experienced poor leadership. We have experienced a downturn in fortune. And now here we are at the reverse Ten of Wands, the outcome. And what we have here is self-deception. So I think this relates back to this in mourning, in forging a new path, and mourning an old way of life. And we're deceiving ourselves because we don't want to think that's true. We don't want to believe it. And I think Donald Trump is deceiving himself as well when he thinks he is just covering up over and over again all these different excuses. It's just a really insane thing. Okay, so the last card is, what effect does this have on me? As a nation, what effect does this have on us? And unfortunately, what we have here is the reversed Hermit card. In the upright position, the Hermit can mean taking a period of alone time, like self-care, helping yourself, ruminating on higher things, studying, educating yourself. But in its reversed position, it takes on a more sinister tone, and it means like an enforced sense of isolation. So that is what the effect this is having on us is an enforced sense of isolation, and the crankiness and the hermetic, the downside, the cons of a hermetic-like condition. And maybe we are stuck and we're frustrated, and I'm getting a Jack Nicholson The Shining vibe. Let's not go there. I keep picking up on all these really strong trends towards these sweeping themes of destruction and hard times before we get to a place of renewal. And so I think that's what this reading is telling us, is that we need to face the facts sooner than later so we don't end up like this dude. Right? I mean, we're facing this right now. I think it's obvious. And in order not to end up like this, we need not to deceive ourselves. And we need better leadership. And we need to let ourselves mourn. But we need to eyes wide open at the same time. All right? Namaste. Have a lovely evening.